Pastor Dalrock lays out the modern day psychology of what some have termed the wake-up call. Wake up! This is where the wife takes action to fix her husband by not submitting to him, but rather giving him a wake-up call. Wake up! Before I get into this though, hey, hit the like button, subscribe, give me a comment, on this video if you're enjoying this. So where did this common narrative of the wake-up call come from? I've even personally had family members go to Christian counseling, and the counselor even tries to give the husband a wake-up call. Wake up! And so here's where Pastor Dalrock traces this common narrative back to when he quotes Al Mohler, pretty well-known Baptist minister, and I like Al Mohler, but Al Mohler says, like most anybody has ever heard in an evangelical church on marital roles, Al says, quote, "Even as wives are commanded to submit to the authority of their husbands, the husband is called to a far higher standard of Christ-like love and devotion towards the wife." And so there is a tendency to downplay the magnitude of what Christian wives are called to compared to the Christian husband. Wives are merely called to submit, and the husbands are called to something higher, to love their wives with Christ-like love. And this diminishment of purpose and the difficulty of submission is both, it's inaccurate and it's unfair to Christian wives. Scripture calls Christian husbands to actively lead their wives to Christ, but it also calls on a Christian wife to submit, to inspire her husband to follow Christ. That's 1 Peter 3, 1-2, where it says, "Wives, in the same way, submit yourselves to your own husbands, so that if any of them do not believe the word, they may be won over without words by the behavior of their wives, when they see the purity and reverence of your lives." And so here is the main problem, then. The idea of the wife submitting to a failing husband is extremely unpopular in our modern era, where feminism is the air that we breathe. And to be fair, this is not an easy thing for a wife to do. To submit to a failing husband, that's really hard. So it's not easy for, men and women to accept that. And so because of this, because we don't accept this in our church or in our culture in large part, we come up with what's called the wake-up call philosophy. Wake up! And in this new narrative, which is not in any way biblical, what is required to fix the failing husband is for the wife not to submit, but to give him the wake-up call. And so there's a 4-step plan then Pastor Dalrock goes over that's commonly put out there for giving the husband a wake-up call. Number 1, a poor excuse for a man and husband does something to make his wife unhappy. Number 2, as a result, the wife lashes out very often in a way that threatens the family. Number 3, her sinful actions, while of course not sanctioned by Scripture, turn out to be just the ticket required to shake her complacent husband into attention and get him to seek out God. And then 4, finally, the husband in his seeking out God, triggered by his wife's lack of submission, fixes their marriage and makes him a better man, bringing them both to God. Has anybody ever seen this really happen in person? Does this ever really happen? Anyway. This is the first installment. We'll go through a whole bunch of examples here in the next couple videos here where you see this taught in sermons, and movies, and that kind of stuff. But it's kind of sad. Anyway, for my fellow patriarchs out there, what do you think of this? Give me a comment. Hit the like button. I'll leave links to the article in the video notes here. Christ is winning. He is building his church, and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. Until next time, this is the post-millennial man.
Wake up!